This podcast contains explicit content.
This is Hardly Focused. Part of the Solid Listen Podcast Network.
Let's begin the show by starting it.
Hello, Rebecca.
Hey, Jack.
We are Hardly Focused. You can find us at hardlyfocused.com. We're on your favorite podcast app. We're on YouTube. Just search for Hardly Focused. Two things real quick. First, buy us a coffee. Keep us caffeinated and energized as we record new episodes of this show. Hardlyfocused.com/coffee. It's a real thing, Rebecca.
Okay, I've heard of that. I'm going to buy you a coffee, Jack.
Thanks, babe. I just learned about this today. I've heard people say it and post it on their websites or on their YouTube channels or what have you, but I thought it was just like a link to like a PayPal donation page. But no, it's a whole thing.
Okay, now I'm curious. I'll have to take a look at this later. I thought it was, a link to PayPal as well.
Hardlyfocused.com/coffee. And second, buy a shirt. Do what Becky's mom did.
She's the best.
And buy several.
And wait for Jack to
shirts.
Design his trucker hats because he's into them now.
I'm not wearing one right now, but I wear hats now. That's a thing I do. Much like what's his face on The Bear wearing suits, I wear hats. So hardlyfocused.com/store where you can get right now just t-shirts. But they are good t-shirts.
Yeah, we're waiting on the stickers and all that. You know, stuff that people want.
We don't sell anymore, though? Face masks.
Thank God.
That time is behind us.
I'm sure it will come back.
Some of the things we might get to in this episode. CrowdStrike's response and make good attempt following their near complete shutdown of the globe last week. And then what Donald Trump's would-be assassin Google searched in the days leading up to the shooting. But first, let's take a look into the lives of Becky and Jack. 3 things that have happened betwixt us two in the past week. First, we saw Blink-182 last night.
Yeah, we did. It feels like just yesterday we were doing this.
When I teach masturbation, I'm always just like, have fun with it.
Where are you?
I can't believe a year has gone by. And here we are again.
Yep.
Fresh off of seeing them.
We saw them at Fenway Park in Boston. Now, this is the second time we've been to Fenway in the past month. We went to a Red Sox game, the two of us, and then Molly from the Solid Listen Podcast Network, Tread Lightly, Mother May Sleep With Podcast.
And this is your first concert at Fenway. And for being such a music head and going to 8 million shows.
Yeah, somehow.
What was your take on it? I mean, I had been to a couple and I said to Jack, just get ready. The sound quality kind of sucks. I'm not a snob. I really don't notice these things, but I did notice.
Shout out to Eric, by the way. I can't mention Molly.
Shout out Eric.
And us at the Red Sox game and not mention Eric as well with his attempt at getting free food at the Aura buffet. But yeah, you're right. I've gone to.
I tried yesterday too.
You tried?
Well, I tried to at least get in and they said no.
Well, very quickly before I mention the Fenway concert experience, we went to that Red Sox game a month ago, and Molly hooked us up with the tickets, and we had pavilion seats. And if you've never been to Fenway Park in Boston before, if you're sitting in the pavilion, there are seats where you basically have a table in front of you, and it is truly the best thing ever.
And you can spread your chicken fingers and your fries. You can have dips, multiple beers. It's very easy.
Yeah, not many people are afforded such a luxury outside of those who get the private boxes. But our seats right behind the line to home plate, and a perfect shot of the Boston skyline. where we're sitting.
Yeah, so I've had a change of heart this month, but I've been a Fenway Park hater. I'm in that camp who said, knock it down. The place kind of sucks. Not the vibe. It's fun, but the seats itself. However, I've always sat in like grandstand 18s, just those old blue chairs in the same spot under the covered roof. I didn't really have a taste of other places in the park. That's not true. I have sat in many places, but never in a field box up top. And it's been a hot minute since I sat in anything deemed luxury over there. And now sitting there, I'm like, nope, I love it. I love it here. Let's come back. Let's get into sports.
You've been ruined.
Yeah.
You're spoiled. Well,
I get it now.
Well, looking up the resale tickets for Blink-182. And by the way, we had no plans to see Blink-182. We had talked about it, but we didn't have anything solidified. Yeah, we didn't have anything planned. So literally the day before the show, looked up resale tickets and found two in the exact, maybe 2 seats over, but the exact seats in that pavilion, in that exact box in which we sat. I think at the Red Sox game, we were seats 1 through 4. And then last night we were 5 and 6.
We were up 5 rows.
Yep. But we were.
And honestly, that kind of made a difference I do think our seats for the Red Sox game were 10 times better just being 5 rows up in that section.
Yeah.
However, it could have rained and we would have been covered in this one.
Well, we lucked out. If we ever go back to Fenway for anything else, we will probably have to sit in the grandstand plebeians.
Yeah. I mean, concerts are tough. Usually Fenway resale I feel like everything over there sells out. If there's a show to be held there, it's selling out, and resale is expensive. I was shocked that there were tickets still available.
And it was packed.
Yeah. It was packed. And I had been watching for a little bit, forgot that they were in town Tuesday, but last week at least I checked in and there were seats available on MLB.com, so not resale.
Yeah.
I found out you bought resale and it wasn't expensive. I was surprised to see that. Maybe it's because they just came around a year ago. They've been touring pretty heavily. I mean, they've been covering the globe.
Yeah, when we saw them last year, they hadn't yet released One More Time, and now that album is out in the wild. So that's what this tour is, and we got tracks from that album. We got, now spoilers for anyone that is going to see the band and does not want to look at the set list. Again, spoilers. We got Not Now.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was cool. We got Carousel, which people very excited to hear that.
Oh, yeah. That was the talk of the town. As we walked out of there, I could hear, when I was listening to their conversations, I could hear them really stoked about that.
And I seem to be the only one who's really excited that we got a partial cover of When Your Heart Stops Beating by Plus 44. And then a partial cover of There Is by Boxcar Racer.
Yeah, would have liked the whole thing.
That would have been cool. That it was fascinating that the version of the Plus 44 song was very slow, halftime, very dark, like a different take on the studio track, which is very fast paced. It's almost like a fast pace. It's almost like a dance song.
Why no Angels and Airwaves? That would have been a little fitting.
When they played in San Diego a few weeks ago, Mark had, because they've been doing this at every tour stop, they're playing a song. They end the set with a song that is relative to the city in which they're in. And for Boston, they ended with Sweet Caroline, because that
such a bummer.
It always plays at every Red Sox game.
I wanted Welcome to New York.
in Boston.
Correct.
But in San Diego, Mark arranged for The Adventure by Angels and Airwaves to play. Tom didn't know this. Tom was actually genuinely surprised
Did
and
you just
excited.
Google that?
No,
Today?
I knew about that.
Oh, you did?
I actually knew about that.
Oh, you
one.
acted surprised when I told you about them ending the show.
Well, you
I thought they play. I didn't look.
You framed it as if they were actually
I'm sorry.
physically playing the song.
I did because I didn't do
do
much research. I was just looking at the set list and saw there was a different song each day.
And here's the other thing too. I never made the connection until yesterday that the song choice was relative to the city that they were in. I thought it was just hey, we're in San Diego, so we're going to do this for Tom. I didn't realize it was, if you're in New York, then we're going to play Taylor Swift, Welcome to New York, or, a band that's from wherever they're currently playing.
They played John Denver in Colorado.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
So that was a good show. That was, I've seen them several times now, and that I think was one of the best sets that they've had. Okay, you asked me a little while ago about the sound quality at Fenway. It was, you could hear it. I could hear it just fine. And going back and looking at the videos I took on my phone, it's quite audible. But yeah, it sounded much better at the TD Garden from an actual audio standpoint.
Yeah. And we were, for being high up in the rafters at the Garden, if you get one of those side view seats that says limited view, it's kind of actually great because you're right there.
We weren't obscured.
No.
Former governor Charlie Baker was in the crowd. I forgot he is a massive, massive Blink-182 fan.
Yep. He's in the pit just as he always is.
Just in the pit.
And he got a shout out.
Not even like, he's wearing a tie-dye shirt too. Not even like, I don't know if like governors get any degree of like security
he's
detail.
Not the governor.
Sure, but even like former governors, he's just out there. He's just being a regular Joe.
He was just with his kid last time. We could see him from where we sat last time. Obviously, we couldn't now. And nobody had a picture of him until today. I was looking last night. I kept refreshing, trying to see where he was at.
I apologize. I apologize for my sniffling, by the way. I just got very, very sniffly all of a sudden.
You just snot rocketed across the room.
But Charlie Baker a few years ago getting ridiculed on social media because his kids gifted him several Blink-182 vinyls.
Wait, why was he ridiculed?
Because, God forbid, he likes a band, like a contemporary band, and he likes Blink-182.
Funny that's the one.
I mean, he's a politician. He's gonna get ridiculed for simply existing.
Yeah,
So.
Honestly, I was surprised to see it. I mean, I loved it when I learned that he was a fan. How old is he?
He's in his 60s.
That's kind of weird. My parents would have no idea who they are.
I was on my old Facebook page. I was friends with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was friends with the governor on Facebook before he became the governor. Back when he was just a regular Joe.
Just a baker.
But, yep, big fan. Blink-182. Yeah, but your mom knows Jimmy Eat World.
She does. She probably does know Blink, but she wouldn't have known. She was rocking out at my cousin's wedding to the Small Things, but I don't know that she would have been able to name a song off the top of her head.
Oh, yeah, she probably thought it was the Ramones.
I don't know if she would have thought it was the Ramones.
Love you, Sue.
She would have probably said, "Is this brand new?" And I would have said, yes. Yes, it is.
So she asks that about every band she hears?
Yeah. They're just brand new or other.
When Biscuit comes on. Is this brand new?
Yeah.
The Spin Doctors.
Is this brand new?
NWA.
Maybe.
I love brand new. I love Fuck the Police. It's Jesse Lacey's finest work.
Lyrical genius.
So that was Blink-182. Second, I've been talking about it for a very, 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 very long time. And I have
right. Where are you going with this one?
I have finally seen it. I'll be seeing it again. Twisters.
Twistas.
The sequel to a movie called Twister. A movie that, when it came out in 1996, I saw it at the drive-in theater, double feature with Independence Day. And that drive-in theater is now a market basket.
As it should be.
And then when Twister came out on VHS, I proceeded to watch it every day. Because that's just what like kids do. They find a thing and they latch onto it and they'll watch it every day. And back in the day, before you had streaming services, before you had a near endless pool of content to select from, if you only had a few VHS tapes lying around, well, I was going to go with my favorite one, and that was Twister.
My sister would watch The Wizard of Oz like every day. I didn't have one.
You didn't have one?
No.
Really?
No.
My cousin would watch Friday every day.
You knew she was bald head. You knew she ain't had no damn hair.
I was not one of those kids who just watched movies over and over. I would see it once and be done with it.
No, I would watch Twister regularly. I mean, that movie, like, the music, the vehicles, to this day, I still want Bill Paxton's Dodge Ram. I almost bought the first Paxton Mobile a few years ago. The guy was selling it for like $8,000 or something. And I almost bought it. I considered pulling the trigger. It was 2020. I'm living by myself. I had the money. That money wasn't going anywhere.
It's a truck?
It's a truck.
I'm glad you didn't.
Oh, it would have sat outside the house. I wouldn't use it. It needs so much work. The fact that he was asking $8,000 for it was astounding in and of itself. But
I'd rather you get the Jurassic Park Jeep.
There's one within proximity. I found
Maybe
out.
Maybe you can
year.
buy it.
I remember driving around in Connecticut, driving by the Ford Explorer from Jurassic Park, just randomly just driving down some no-name road in Connecticut, and there it is. It passed me by, and I squealed like a little girl. But Twisters, 10 out of 10.
Wow.
I love the original movie. I would argue that Twisters is, I'm hesitant to say better than the original, on par with the original. Definitely more scientific compared to the first movie. But
more country.
I was identifying all the parallels in the characters between the first film and this one. Totally went over my head that the front man from TV on the Radio is one of the supporting characters. But I really liked it.
I'm happy. I know you were excited about this.
And the guy who's playing Superman in James Gunn's Superman movie, it's filming right now, plays a major character in Twisters. And this is my first time seeing him in anything, and I think he will do fine as Superman / Clark Kent. I want to talk about his character, but that would entail me having to spoil Twisters, and it's too soon.
Yeah,
it's too soon.
Save it for a couple weeks. But maybe after you see it for the 5th time, you can get into it.
We'll say that
I'm sorry.
The writer, one of the writers, Joseph Kosinski, and he was the one that I guess initially pitched the sequel to Warner Brothers a few years ago. And this is the guy who is responsible for Tron Legacy, which was superior to its the original film. Also came out 20-something years after the original film. This is the man who also directed Top Gun Maverick, almost 30 years after the original film, better than the original, and he had a hand in Twisters. So Joseph Kosinski is synonymous with sequels that come out decades after their predecessor, but then also being just as good, if not better, than what they were following. So anything this guy is involved with seems to turn to gold. Steven Spielberg also involved with it too. Meanwhile, the original director of Twister had no idea there was a sequel. He found out when the second trailer came out.
Oh.
That guy was a prick. Jan de Bont, whatever his name is. That guy's a donkey. He caused physical injury to several crew members and cast members of Twister. Helen Hunt got temporarily blinded because of him.
Oh.
She also suffered an injury. That scene when they're driving the truck through the field when they successfully launched Dorothy. When she jumped out of the truck, she smacked her head on the door, and actually got a concussion and blamed the director for it because
she's still alive.
Helen Hunt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
A plastic surgery nightmare.
Really?
She does not look good. She shows up on those lists of celebrities who had botched plastic surgery.
Oh.
Which sucks because she was a celebrity crush of mine when I was younger. She also tried to she was supposed to direct a Twister sequel. Bill Paxton wanted to get it off the ground for a long time. He only wanted to do it if Philip Seymour Hoffman was involved, and he got far too big for a Peanuts project like a Twister sequel, and then both of them have since passed away. Helen Hunt then tried to do her own version of a sequel featuring a predominantly minority cast, and the negotiations, I guess, fell through.
She doesn't look that bad.
Pull up a photo of her from the Mad About You era.
Yeah, but it's one thing. I mean, you get older, you look different. Yeah, you're not gonna.
Her nose it's too triangular.
Oh my God, Jack, this is not a nightmare.
She looks like Lara Croft in the first Tomb Raider game. There's just too many triangles. But anywho,
you're just a hater.
I'm a hater. I don't hate Twisters though. I like Twisters. I want to see it again. Disappointed it's not an IMAX anymore.
I can't believe that. I'm like, I'll find you one.
See, kid, an ordinary person spends his life avoiding tense situations. Reefer man spends his life getting into tense situations.
Am I gonna work there much longer? No, I'm not gonna work there.
Hardly Focused.
I'm a driver. I'm a winner. Things are gonna change. I can feel it.
Do you like hot fudge sundaes?
You are listening to Hardly Focused.
Have you tried the lasagna? It's my favorite.
Dissecting the news, one tangent at a time.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
Hear more at hardlyfocused.com.
So we have that, and then finally, this was. Can I talk about your tooth?
Oh, please! As I'm grabbing my face.
This was almost 2 years in the making, at least for me, because for as long as I've known you, I've known that you've had a tooth that needed to go, and it's gone.
We did it.
And right now, how are you feeling now that you've been talking for the last 20 minutes?
Dinner. It sucks. It's been nine days now. And it's been okay. I mean, obviously I've been in pain, but I will say after dinner tonight, I feel like something went rogue.
Yeah.
Little sore. I think I had something got in it. But, we're trucking through it. I'm happy it's done. I don't really this bone graft feels uncomfortable. My tongue is being destroyed by this sharp tooth. That's now, I don't know. There's just things have shifted slightly, and now my tongue pays the price.
Now, how long has it been?
9 days, right?
This is the story of a girl who cried a river and drowned the whole
Sorry.
No, by all means.
This is a different version.
Yeah, this is.
When she smiles.
Is this the?
This must be
cover.
This is either a demo or they pulled a Toad the Wet Sprocket and they re-recorded the song.
Oh no!
They did one of a greatest hits album that's entirely re-recorded. I mean, it sounds the same, but it's definitely not the original version.
This is not it.
He's a teacher. Oh, I'm blanking on his name, John something, but he's like a high school teacher. And if you look him up on ratemyteachers.com, it's all of his students who are like, yeah, he's a good teacher. He's a good guy. He's a nice guy. And also he was in 9 days. But there's videos of him sitting in his classroom with an acoustic guitar and just playing that song, just playing music for his kids in between lectures on the American Revolution. John Hampson is his name. So
if I know you can't make this work, but I just wanted to let you know.
Yeah.
That tomorrow morning or afternoon, you could go see Twisters in IMAX. It looks like they're at least playing through noon.
Okay.
But
I would love to skip work and go. Okay, yeah. So I guess that was a new album. It's called Snapshots. It's a new-ish album. I say new-ish. It came out in 2016, but it includes a re-recorded version of Story of a Girl. So today we learned.
We did.
I didn't know that.
I do love that song.
Oh my God, that was my first CD.
Really?
What was your first CD?
Well, if you don't count the Mickey Mouse like techno covers, like Beauty and the Beast covers, it was Hanson.
Okay, that's not bad.
Middle of nowhere, and they're playing at Epcot. Wait, who did you just play? What's that band name that you just played?
9 Days.
I bet they're playing at Epcot too, because everybody's playing at Epcot. That's like those 1 to 2 hit wonders.
9 Days does like the touring circuit with Gin Blossoms and Vertical Horizon. You know, they're like the you have that like one tour, the summer of '99 tour. They do offshoots of that.
Oh yeah.
But 9 Days also, they can only tour in the summer.
They only had 9 days to tour.
Pretty much. I mean, you joke, but Hampson, I mean, the man's a teacher. He's unavailable between August and June.
Right.
So he's only got a few months out of the year when he can go on the road. And would you want to, after spending several months teaching a bunch of brats?
I don't know. I don't know if it would be a release or if it would
make things worse.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, I'm happy you got your tooth out. I'm sorry that it's been a rough recovery.
What if I got dry socket right now, like after all that, doing well?
I feel like at this stage, you would know if you had dry socket. I don't think at this point you can get dry socket. Dry socket, I feel like only occurs within the first 2 to 3 days of the operation.
It's just, I don't want to get too graphic. I have questions though, but the whole tooth process, I found out I don't like gross things all the time, but I do think I like gross teeth things. I was obsessed. I wanted to keep my tooth so bad.
Those are some pretty gnarly photos I saw of it.
Yeah, I mean the thing was not good.
That tooth was a beast.
That tooth was black.
Why's it got to be black, Rebecca?
And it had rings. The thing was ready to go.
Yeah, but like the root of it, though. I mean, it's like looking at an iceberg. When you see like the pictures of icebergs underwater and just
I
like
know,
how big
and it
they
takes some of your jaw with it. Like the fact that it was pink, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that's
like,
why you're in pain.
It all makes sense, and I am like, what is that? I'm like, that's my jaw.
Yeah, once the drugs wore off, then you were like, this really hurts. I'm in a lot of pain. I'm like, yeah. Well, not only did you have a bone graft, you literally had something ripped out of your skull. It's not easy.
I will say, when the stitches came out today, I was able to open wider. Like, I kept saying I can't open, but now I'm back to like lockjaw a little bit too. The thing that makes me nervous though, every time I have a tooth procedure, a major one.
Yeah.
Not every time. I get the times that things went bad, especially with my root canal and my allergy situation. I would get a bruise on my thumb. Maybe not a bruise. It's a purple mark. I have no idea the connection, but that's consistently, I would get a purple patch here, and I have one.
Are you doing something weird with your hands during the procedure?
Well, no, it comes after. It comes like 5 days after. So when I saw that, I am like, oh no, is this not agreeing with me? Is there an allergy situation? TBD. I don't know what my allergy would be to. It wouldn't make any sense. I'm just kind of.
You said you're allergic to the stuff that they would have to give you if you had dry socket.
Right.
Which, again, thankfully, you didn't get it. And I don't think you can get it at this point. The fact that the stitch is now gone is a very encouraging sign.
At least one of them.
And, well, when I had my wisdom teeth out, I was in horrific amounts of pain and actually developed an ulcer on the roof of my mouth because the stitches were in way too tight. And I'll tell you that this could have been rectified using the narcotics that I was given.
Right. They were stolen from you.
They were flushed down the toilet 2 days after my wisdom teeth were surgically removed.
But at least you do not have an addiction.
I don't have an addiction. You're right. But I'm scarred for life, though. And I had to take narcotics when my finger almost got ripped off. I had to take narcs for that. I didn't develop an addiction, although I can tell you, I understand why people do.
Yeah, I don't.
I understand. I remember the feeling well of once they kicked in and just the sort of bliss that follows.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't experience that. I experience like, ew, my stomach hurts.
You know, if you take like a shot of any sort of alcohol and you can like feel it in your head.
Well, yeah. I mean,
it's that's what it feels like. But it's just like low key and it kind of like sticks around for a little while.
Yeah, it does not. Even like alcohol, like, no, I like to drink, but I don't get this like bliss. I don't.
I like beer.
I do.
I like beer. Boys like beer. Girls like beer. I like beer. I like beer.
Okay.
If I may circle back a few minutes.
Sure.
Tell me if you think you'd be alright if I could just crash here tonight. I'm sorry, I can't. It's coming up and I'm psyched for it. You get to hear it. Don't worry. I can't play that one. I don't have ownership. I'm gonna play this, but you deserve to get in tune. You deserve to have a song played for you in tune. So I'm gonna tune real quick. So anyway,
you can hear all the songs that they want to play, but not.
What was that?
It was 9 days.
Oh, I thought it sounded like, was that Ocean Avenue?
It was a longer lead up than I thought it was going to be.
Semi-charm kind of life. I heard
that. Yeah. It's John Hampson from 9 Days covering "Hey Jealousy" because they were opening for Gin Blossoms. So that's what's going on in our lives.
I know, and it never changes. I apologize. You know, we're sitting down here once again, and we've just seen Blink-182. I'm complaining about my teeth. Some things just never change.
Would you see 9 Days if they were coming around?
I have a hard time seeing one-hit wonders because I really do get bored at shows where I don't know the music. And if it was a condensed show, like if it was at Epcot and, you know, it's a 15-minute show where they just do like 3 songs, I'm there. I am there.
Well, okay, so you weren't bored when we saw the ELO offshoot at Epcot.
No, that was fun. But also I knew a little bit more of their discography.
That's right.
And they did play in 5-song increments. What was I bored? Now, I don't want you to be upset, but like, was I terribly bored during the Postal Service? Yes, I was.
I mean,
I am so happy to like rock, you know, if you're enjoying it and I'm there to support, you know, my pal.
I appreciate that.
I'm happy to do it, but I am looking at the clock, counting down the set list.
Well, luckily for you at the Postal Service, they only have the one album. And they only played the one album. And they are, I mean, I guess they are a one-hit wonder if you think about it.
It's been a long time. Well, and I didn't even know that one song, but it's been a long time. I'm trying to even think of the last show I went to where I did not know a majority of the songs. I do try to avoid it, which is why when you're like, hey, so-and-so's coming around, and I'm like, have fun, babe. That sounds great.
That was the thing I wish I never subjected on Kate. And Kate was always willing to come along, but she went to a lot of concerts with me where like she obviously had no investment in the band like I did when I think back to like, you know, like Jesus Mary Chain or Stone Roses. She would come along because she just liked the, you know, idea of being at a show.
Yeah.
Being able to go to a concert.
Some people do.
But in hindsight, I dragged her to a lot of shows for bands and genres of music she just was not into. But anytime she had something that she wanted to see, I'd go with her because I knew, like, hey, I feel like I owe you for this.
No, it is an experience. It's a night out. It's just harder to do, I'd say, today than it was even 5 years ago with the price. It's like you have to be invested and want to go.
Yeah. Even like I saw Sunny Day Real Estate a couple months ago, and like I've listened to Diary a whole bunch of times, but there's songs on there that I would never be able to tell you, like hearing it and be able to identify it by its title. But there's then like 4 songs on there that I absolutely love. It's for me being able to say, I saw Sunny Day Real Estate perform Diary in its entirety. For you, that you get the bragging rights of being able to say, I saw a Postal Service live. Because there could be people out there that are going to be like, oh, you got to see them. That's badass.
Yeah, I guess.
I like to have the bragging rights. For me, it's the bragging rights. Being able to say, like, seeing to be able to say, I saw Stone Roses. Like that's, I do know there are people out there that wish they had that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I did that, right? Like seeing Stone Temple Pilots back in the day. The songs that are on the radio, I love, but I don't know anything more than that. But back in the day, I'm like, I feel like I need to go because I don't feel like this is going to be a thing later on. And I'm glad I saw them while I could.
I saw Shone. Remember Shone?
Yeah.
One of the 2 concerts they played. They did 2 live shows. One in New York and for some reason one in Boston. And that was during a lull in brand new, not touring. And the closest I was going to get was seeing Shone. And that's me bragging to you right now that I got to see them. And then I talked to Vin after the show, Vin Accardi. And I told myself I will never wash myself again.
And you haven't.
No, I'm Pigpen. I'm disgusting and gross. Okay, we only have, I'm going to play this, but we only have 2 stories in this episode of Hardly Focused.
I don't watch the news.
Hardly Focused
presents Argle Bargle or Foofara.
This weekend, well, everything.
Oh my God, I'm missing the news.
We all miss the news, but Huey Lewis needs time to create.
So we can either go over the CrowdStrike fallout, or you, before we start recording, seem very invested and interested in this revelation about the would-be Trump assassin.
Whatever you'd like, Jack. It is your show.
It's all of our show.
I'm just a fan.
Yeah, I've got my listener is here.
And I'm not giving you that listen back when I hear it live.
All right.
Sorry, Jack.
It's okay. Let's do the CrowdStrike thing first. That is pretty much the Y2K virus event. No, Y2K, like, not
this
virus.
This is what it should have been.
This Y2K, it finally happened. It happens on the 19th if you weren't somehow affected by it. And both Becky and I fall into that somehow category, but there were a lot of people who were impacted by this. A lot of business. That's the thing, is a lot of businesses were impacted by it, and a lot of customers not able to even just go to a store and check out using a credit card because they couldn't, because the POS systems were down because they were all running on a service that used CrowdStrike. But CrowdStrike being a corporate level anti-virus security system. And an update comes out for it. It just breaks it, effectively causing any computer running it to go into a boot loop, getting the blue screen of death, as it's called. And it was akin to Skynet taking over in Terminator 3. It was Y2K, what we thought was going to happen on January 1st, 2000. And it happened on July 19th, 2024. The world came to a grinding halt. You got a notification. Now, my IRL job, we all use Macs. We were not affected by this. It was only Windows users, but you got an alert from your company saying everything was down.
Yeah, it's never good. They send the alarmist text.
So how did you skate by? Was your computer off?
Jack, I don't know. I don't ask questions. I have no idea what security my laptop has beyond what I need to do to make sure it's secure. I don't really know the tech behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I didn't ask a lot of questions. I just saw that some people were impacted and others were not. And I was able to sign in and had no interruption to the day. So, but I will say, my company, whatever issues they had it fixed pretty quickly. I mean, it wasn't even 10 a.m.
I mean, I guess it depends on the level of protection that you have on your devices, because now I'm not the most tech savvy person, but I understand BitLocker is one extra level of encryption that made the recovery process very difficult. And it involved, at the time, it involved a manual fix, which now I will say tech savvy enough that if you were to give me those instructions, I'd be able to do it lickety split, not hard at all. But there are a lot of people out in the world that if you tell them, all right, reboot your computer and boot it up into safe mode, they are going to explode. You give them any instructions like that. So now imagine having an organization where 90% of the company is computer inept and you cannot follow those instructions. Case in point, our Fro host.
They call me Fro.
He works in IT. He was responsible for fixing, at his estimate, 8,000 machines.
Yikes.
Which involved having to log into them remotely in the safe mode to find the file in question that needed to be deleted. I believe with the BitLocker thing, that was one extra step that needed to be taken, or several extra steps. A pain in the ass. Poor guy had to pull mandatory overtime over the weekend. I'm talking to him today. He's still bitching about it. He hasn't
left the office.
Yeah, people are still working on it. Delta Airlines is...
I was going to say, is Delta up and running yet? Oh, wow.
All the other major airlines that were impacted by it, besides Southwest, who had to come out and confirm we are not running on Windows 3.1, which is hilarious.
We don't even have computers.
Southwest is
There's no assigned seats. There's no computer for that information. It's fine.
Southwest is laughing. They're like, yeah, typewriters weren't impacted by this, ladies and gentlemen. But Delta just, however they have their system set up, it is not fixed. Everyone else is, for the most part, getting out of the woods. It's helped that Microsoft themselves have released a recovery tool, providing you don't have that BitLocker encryption.
Well, it's probably best that major companies have a variety of programs that they use, or I guess even software. Do have Mac, have PC.
Yeah.
Just in case, some sort of contingency plan. I think a lot of them do. I think especially after COVID. I shouldn't say a lot of them. I think some very, depending upon what type of business you're in, they do.
Yeah.
Just in case.
I hope that little meow picked up into the mic, too.
That was cute. I could hear it.
That would be, if it picked up, that I think would be Ted's first time being heard.
Ted needs his mom. He's having a day. he's had a few days. He's going to have a couple that, the cats are going to the vet for the first time. This will be, just wait for that. Yeah.
Yeah. We're not going to see them for a solid week.
I know. So I'm going to enjoy, because he won't talk to me again. This is the end of our relationship.
Yeah. I'm taking enjoyment. I'm really drinking in Ted being so attentive lately and vocal, because Ted has always been the quiet, meek cat of my two.
Well, I taught him confidence and to stand in his power.
Yeah, well, that's gonna all go out the window on Friday. But
he's gonna run away.
So today, according to TechCrunch.com, CrowdStrike offered $10 in Uber Eats.
Oh God!
To clients
the worst
impacted by their faulty July 19th software update, which. When I asked you earlier if your computer was off, my understanding was that if your machine was off at the time the borked update went out, but was not turned on because then they released another update that fixed the broken one. But only people whose machines were off after that second update went out would have received the quote-unquote good update and would have been fine. That's why I was curious if your computer was off and just you evaded the update altogether. But most machines, because they were, corporate servers, were on as they are 24/7, so it was unavoidable. But some people were able to either avoid it by not turning their computer on, or Fro was lamenting this, but there was a recommendation that if you just rebooted your computer upwards of 15 times,
you just punch it.
I normally punch things, and that, like 50% of the time that fixes the issue. So, CrowdStrike trying to offer a make good. This coming from Daniel Bernard, who's the company's chief technology officer. They released a statement saying, quote, "We recognize the additional work that the July 19th incident has caused, and for that, we send our heartfelt thanks and apologies for the inconvenience. To express our gratitude, your next cup of coffee or late night snack is on us."
Oh, you can buy he can buy you a coffee, Jack.
hardlyfocused.com/coffee. Now, now, in my opinion,
that's horrible.
Any amount of okay, cool, like $10 in Uber Eats, whatever. But at the same time, $10 is not going to make up for the mandatory overtime that Fro had to pull in.
No, this is like, are there lawsuits?
There's going to be lawsuits. There's going to be firings. There's going to be this company. If this company still exists in 6 months, I'll be surprised. Because
I saw on Reddit again. I did, as I say, I did no research, but I did see that this CEO was either the CEO or some high up at McAfee when there was an issue. I don't know, some sort of software outage, a major one that is actually what shut the company down. They couldn't come back from it.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay,
George
so now
Kurtz.
he's moved over here and we're doing it again.
Yeah, some CEOs are just known for bouncing around to companies and
so once you're a CEO, you're just there for life.
You're just like, you're to no longer be a CEO, you need to get Me Too'd.
Or you need to be president.
Yeah, or be president. Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. The once a CEO, always a CEO, and you tank one company and then you go to the next company. And
I
you
need
tank
that energy.
One.
I need to really just live that life.
I want to say, I believe his name is John Riccitelli, I think his name is. And Riccitello. And he was the former CEO of Electronic Arts. And they're now known as one of the worst video game studios, developers, companies in the business. And then he went to, I believe it's Epic, or Unity, rather. And that's a company that makes video game engines. And under his direction, there was some update that came out for Unity. I think it was a new financial strategy for how game developers, especially indie game developers, I believe either how they get paid or what they have to put in to use the software. Basically, it caused this enormous, massive backlash. And a lot of people who are unfamiliar with this guy, Riccitello, in his resume, they looked it up and like, wow, every company this guy's worked at, he's just introduced business practices that have just destroyed either the company or at the very least the company's reputation. So it's just a CEO thing. It's just CEOs do this. They go if they tank one company, then they just go to another company and they tank that. Some other CEOs are also known as the ones that specialize in winding down operations, so to speak.
Right.
They're the ones that are they're called terminators. They're known for just going in and when a company's failing and the CEO gets ousted, they bring in a CEO from another company who shut that company down, and that CEO's purpose is literally to shut the company down.
Yeah.
Redbox is going through this right now.
Oh, I know. I'm sure. I figured you had saw that story, but I had meant to send it to you when I saw it.
Oh, I mean, there's still a Redbox out in front of that Walgreens that just closed down the street. And I question, like, is that thing going to get picked up? Is there anything in it? Has it been pilfered? But I didn't realize that Redbox was owned by Chicken Soup for the Soul. Do you know that?
No.
Yeah. Did you ever read those books?
Yeah. I read one like Chicken Soup for the Breakup Soul or something when I was going through my like high school, college breakup and was devastated and didn't know how to feel better. I would read the Chicken Soup books for like adults. Like
the only one I had was about animals, and I bought it at PetSmart. But it was good. I liked it. But I didn't realize that A, they were still around, and B, they owned Redbox. But I guess that.
So do they do anything else, or they're just strictly, you know, self-help, soul-searching books /
I have no idea. I didn't know they were around, but they own like a whole bunch of different properties, including Redbox. But I guess that whole operation is.
Oh, this feels like something's
bankrupt.
going on over there.
Right, but
I'm not getting a good vibe from this.
But the guy who's in charge right now, I think they ousted the CEO who was
Chicken Soup for the CEO soul.
Yeah, he was running the show, and everything went belly up. So now there's a new guy in there who's going to basically fire everybody. And then shut the company down. So don't be surprised if George Kurtz is ousted from CrowdStrike in the next couple months and someone else comes in to wind up operations, close the business, close up shop.
It's based out of Connecticut, Chicken Soup?
Really?
For
local.
The soul?
It's local. Connecticut sucks.
Yeah, sometimes though they have good pizza, and sometimes they have, that's it.
Blink-182 is there though right now.
That's fun, and you know who's there?
What?
Right now?
Who?
I think Sammy Hagar is there.
Yes, he is. He's in Bridgeport.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know that because I think my friend Keith Dakin posted that on Instagram. Yeah. Playing that sick van. I love that place in
You're
Bridgeport.
like my uncle guy. You just always have these friends that I'm like, who is that?
Yeah, but I try really hard not to be like Hillman. Yeah. My good friend Keith Tugboat Dakin.
Yeah. If I had $1 though for every time you're like, my friend, insert first and last name I've never heard, is here.
I know everybody.
You have a lot of friends.
I do have a lot of friends. And what's in
a friend?
The irony of me getting rid of my Facebook though, so I would lower my social profile because I was friends with everybody on.
I know, and now you're like scrapping to get back in touch in different ways.
I find ways. I'm in touch with the people I want to be in touch with. People are finding, because now I have my a friends only, like close friends only Facebook profile that's literally just used to manage the Hardly Focused Facebook page that I don't actually do any work on. But people find that profile now and they're sending me messages. And it's comical because I'm not going to respond.
Oh, you don't be a jerk.
I'm not being a jerk. I'm just like, I don't need to.
You're not that special. Don't put your nose in the air.
Oh, my nose is in the air.
You just want a Facebook profile so people can try to get to you and you can just say no.
Yeah.
Well,
no,
that's great, Jack. I love that for you.
I'm on Threads. Threads is where it's at. Hardly Focused on Threads. I'm on
the Reddit.
I'm having the time of my life on Threads. I really am.
I love that.
According to TechCrunch, they say on Wednesday, some of the people who posted about the gift card, remember, $10 in Uber Eats.
Which gets you what? It just
nothing.
That's the delivery fee.
Yeah. Some of the people who posted about the gift card said that when they went to redeem the offer, they got an error message saying the voucher had been canceled.
Shut their computer down.
When TechCrunch checked the voucher, the Uber Eats page provided an error message that said that the gift card has been canceled by the issuing party. It is no longer valid.
What did Uber Eats chime in?
A spokesman actually for CrowdStrike says, we did send these to our teammates and partners who have been helping customers through this situation. Uber flagged it as fraud because of high usage rates.
Okay.
No, Uber. What actually happened is Uber caught wind, those from CrowdStrike, and said, "Oh, no. You fucked us the other day. We're going to fuck you now."
There we go. I actually like that.
Yeah, I love that. And in fact, anyone, if they're like trying to, because like there's corporations can use services, and I'm blanking on what it's called, but there's a service that you can like, basically buy gift cards at the corporate level, and they're gift cards for anything, like Amazon, Starbucks, what have you. And I guarantee you, CrowdStrike is going to use that service. And I don't know if it's like the service itself or the individual merchant like Uber Eats, but if they like, okay, hey, Uber Eats, it didn't work, so let's try Amazon. Then Amazon goes, nope, go fuck yourself. You screwed us too. CrowdStrike is going to be vilified on the internet.
Maybe they can give out Apple gift cards.
Apple changed, even Apple was like changing their social media marketing, their profiles and everything to say like something like, problem-free since 1984, just to poke fun at the fact that they were completely unaffected by this.
Are they wrong?
Well, I mean, Apple's got its issues,
Sure, yeah.
but I mean, they don't need to rely on a platform like CrowdStrike to have to deal with cybersecurity and threats like this, because Macs, it's not right to say viruses do not exist on Macs, but they don't exist to the same extent as they do on Windows. So, and for the nuances of that, I can't.
I know. I'm like, I want to read about that. I mean, I know that, but I want to really understand why. That's going to be a book I'll read next.
Yeah. And then there's Linux, which like that's really in the weeds right there. But Linux was also unaffected by it. So, Ars Technica, they say just after midnight Eastern time, CrowdStrike. This is what happened. This is in quasi layman's terms what happened. At just after midnight Eastern time, this being on the 19th of July, CrowdStrike deployed a quote content configuration update to allow its software to quote gather telemetry on possible novel threat techniques. CrowdStrike says that these rapid response content updates are tested before being deployed, as they should be. And that one of the steps involves checking updates using something called the content validator. In this case, a bug in the content validator failed to detect problematic content data in the update responsible for the crashing systems. So it sounds like AI. They're using some sort of either AI or automation that itself using a program to check a program, which that makes sense in the grand scheme of things. But it also sounds like the program to check the program had either a bug of its own or just wasn't itself configured or updated to identify this bug. I don't know. I could be speaking out my ass right there, but yeah, it's.
I'm buying it.
I don't like the expression robbing Peter to pay Paul, but that is kind of what it is right there.
Okay.
A faulty system checking a faulty system. It cancels
Two wrongs don't make a right.
So that's CrowdStrike. We're still recovering from. I mean, we've largely recovered from it, but there are some large.
Is it just Delta that's not back, or is there another major company?
I believe right now Delta is the global corporation.
So what are they doing
still
wrong?
Significantly impacted by the whole thing. Delta. I mean, Delta does everything wrong. Delta sucks.
Everybody loves Delta though. At least all the influencers love Delta.
Influencers are a special breed.
Yeah, but.
They really are.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like
it's because they're in cahoots with Big Airplane.
They are in cahoots with Big Airplane.
I'll tell you who is not in cahoots with Big Airplane. Matthew Crooks.
There was an airplane crash today in Nepal. It's kind of gnarly.
Nepal?
Yeah. The pilot was the only survivor, and it's because the plane bounced in this weird way, the images of him being rescued are scary.
You ever been in a cockpit before?
It was not Boeing though.
Have you ever been in a Turkish prison? Have you ever seen a grown man naked?
The movie will not fly today. Get it? Get it? Get it? Because airplanes fly.
That motherfucker back there is not real.
Unless they don't.
She travels. She travels a lot.
No, she's an influencer now.
The FAA must have looked the other way, or she flashed them.
No, I don't think she ever got in trouble. I think she just walked out of the airport and they didn't chase her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she wasn't interrogated by authorities, but she obviously didn't get arrested or anything. But because the plane didn't take off.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. Everybody needs to relax.
I used to be with it, but then they changed what it was. Now what I'm with isn't it, and what's it seems weird and scary to me. It'll happen to you.
You are listening to Hardly Focused. Hardly Focused presents
Joel Haver.
What's your favorite movie?
I go with John Cassavetes, who, it's an answer that requires 20 explanations because it's so, it's not something most people know. But yeah. John Cassavetes was like an independent filmmaker in the 50s to the 80s. And my favorite movie of his is Love Streams, which is his last movie. Before Love Streams, he got the prognosis that he had 6 months to live. So him and his wife made one last movie together. And it's just a very sad, beautiful, strange movie that makes me cry like no other. So I just love it. That's the long-winded answer.
We also would have accepted The Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Or Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah. I'm so glad Love Streams was on the 3 you would accept. That's very special.
You are listening to Hardly Focused.
Matthew Crooks, that's the name of the shooter, the guy that tried to kill the 34 times convicted felon and real estate
Fake
mogul.
news.
Fake.
This is not the place for me to practice my impression, but I was just so tempted.
Fake dental work. That tooth was illegal. The tooth has been removed. I would say in a lot of ways, that tooth, it was not voting for Trump, I'll tell you that much.
You're getting better.
Oh, God. Oh, I'm not going to say it. I had a good one. It was when you said that tooth was black.
Jack, what are we doing here?
I mean, it was literally the color of the tooth. It was rotten. All right. Anyway. There's the big congressional hearing that's happening right now, looking into how Trump almost died. It's miraculous, and that's a word I never thought I'd use. But it is miraculous that he survived, which I'm going to throw some of my predictions out the window from the last episode of the show that we did, where I thought that
the December episode.
The December episode?
We did a predictions episode at the start of the year. I thought that's what you were referring to.
No, the last week's episode when I said that, hey, will he and Biden be a little more respectful of one another, and that lasted all of 2 days. Well, this has been a
weird few weeks.
It has indeed, and I don't know. I would argue that the man was one-upped by Biden's decision to not seek re-election, but that's definitely thrown a wrench in some wheels.
Well, it's changed where people are paying attention now.
Mm-hmm. Well, the congressional hearing happening right now, and FBI Director Christopher Wray testifying today, I believe.
Wait, so is
24th
this the new
of July? The current director of the FBI, Christopher Wray. No longer is it Louis Freeh.
Oh.
Nor has it been for a long time.
Who was the girl?
Who was the girl? That was the Secret Service director, not the FBI
my
director.
God. Okay. I'm getting my agencies mixed up.
2 different branches, Rebecca.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Here is what he had to say about what Matthew Crooks was doing on January. I almost said January 6th.
Where was he?
July 6th. That was the
13th.
Yeah. Well, the 13th is the day of the shooting.
All right.
The 6th
Ignore
was the
me.
day that the rally was announced where
Yep.
you could then sign up.
Which I just
for-
learned you sign up. I did not know the process of attending any rally.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you need tickets. There's a capacity.
I don't know why I thought you could just show up.
You mean I have to pay for this buffet?
I felt like it's my right. Just rally wherever I want.
Here's Christopher Wray talking or testifying rather at the congressional committee.
So one of the things that I can share here today that has not been shared yet is that we've just in the last couple of days found that from our review, to your point about devices, analysis of a laptop that the investigation ties to the shooter reveals that on July 6th, he did a Google search for, quote, how far away was Oswald from Kennedy? And so that's a search that obviously is significant in terms of his state of mind. That is the same day that it appears that he registered for the Butler rally.
Hoslong. That's far away.
That's what I was thinking. I was gonna mess with you and say that's what he searched for because I know you'd believe me.
Yeah, I fat finger that word how all the time.
Hose.
Yeah. Hose.
That's what you're
hose
saying.
long.
You're saying hose.
So.
And he didn't, I mean.
Have we found his Reddit account? Because you know he's out there.
That's a good question. I don't know. These things usually get taken down very, very quickly. But, I mean.
I did see on Twitter he did have an account. It's some crazy website. And I got a suggested tweet of whoever owns this. It looked like a site I would never go to.
Well, he had also posted stuff about it on Steam.
Oh, maybe it was
Steam
Steam.
Well, yeah, well, it's a.
Maybe I treat Steam like it's like 4chan.
Well, you know why? It's because it's video games.
Yeah, that stuff's.
Steam is a store,
unsafe.
and it's a digital store and a digital distribution service for video games.
Although it did come up back in my Bitcoin days quite a bit.
Steam, I remember, was just a service that you used to launch CrowdStrike way back in the day, and then Valve started adding their own games to it, and then it turned into just a platform for pretty much all video games. That's the service that I use to play my PC games on the living room TV.
It's
nifty.
Jack, that's nice.
It's nifty.
It's sweet of you.
Thank you.
I stole the TV.
Thank you for thank you for allowing me to in the living room play video games. It's actually I know I've picked the right one when she says, if you want to play a video game down here, that's fine by me.
Oh, I don't care. Yeah, I'm like, sometimes I just rot where I rot, and I'm like, send me somewhere else if you have something you actually wanted to do.
Please, Jack, please tell me to fuck off.
Well, I know you. You're sweet. You would never actually say that, even if you were dying inside to play your game.
I come from a broken home.
I'm sorry.
Crooks. What a fool. Using Google and not Alta Vista.
Well,
or Bing.
Do you think he
or
really
SG?
cared whether that search was going to be found once, all was said and done? He has to have known.
He seems like smarter than we're giving him credit for. Because he didn't care. He knew what node he was going
They said
out
he was intelligent. Whatever. But there's a whole separate issue of, do you not want your motive understood? Why do you want to keep things secret? Because if you're just doing something knowing it's probably going to be the day you're taken out too, and you don't really care what comes of it.
Yeah.
What do you care? If they're finding your stuff, unless there's a bigger plot here.
Well, it's like suicide by cop, pretty much. That's what he committed.
Right. And he had to have figured.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It feels like he wasn't, if he's using Google, that interested. It feels like it was like willy-nilly.
Now, I'm not savvy in this. I would imagine that Karen Reed did not use incognito mode private browsing mode when she searched.
Karen Reed did not search that.
Who searched it?
It was Jen McCabe.
Okay. Whoever it was doesn't know how to spell. But
well, I wouldn't say that. I think it's just hitting the keyboard.
But can if you're searching using incognito mode, I mean, they tell you that stuff's not being tracked. Is it really being tracked?
Oh, of course.
That's what you should be using.
I mean, it's
in these
not
cases.
track. I'm sure, just like if your parents are checking your internet history, yeah, it's not there, but there's 8,000 programs that can grab it. But it does actually create some deniability.
Yeah.
And now you have experts fighting over what the truth is. So there's something to it. But also I don't remember right now if she's incognito or if she just went and deleted and purged her history.
I'm really excited to plug the super secret Karen Reed episode.
Yes. I have ADHD and I've been you have to believe me. I've spent so much time working on it, but I'm not ready yet.
It's just like this really is turning. It's gonna be a Skyrim episode. It will happen eventually, but we're just gonna keep
lucky for
talking about it until it.
Lucky
does.
for us, we have 6 months to the next trial. There's plenty of time.
Yeah, the Google search, not deleting anything. It reminds me of.
Are we sure he didn't delete it, or did the FBI recover it using?
That's what I don't know. I don't know how this works.
FBI tools.
I would imagine the latter, but I would always try to err on the side of caution and use the private browsing mode. Back in the day, when we had the family computer. Remember back in the day, back in the 50s,
oh, yeah.
You had the television set. You didn't have, a TV in every room. As it was.
I had a TV in every room from the age of 6.
As it was said in Back to the Future, wow, 2 TVs, you must be rich.
My parents were iPad kids. They threw me in front of that TV.
And then it turned into, you have one computer, the family computer.
Yep.
But now, a computer and multiple computers in every room. But the family computer, and I'm a teenager, and I discovered internet porn. But back then, browsers didn't have private mode. So you know what I did? I go to 89.com, rub one out, and there was always an order of operations. There were crucial steps to be taken, and one of those crucial steps was go into settings and wipe everything. Delete your internet history. Because if I forgot to do that, the chances of my father going to type something in, maybe not 89.com, Pornhub.com didn't exist then, but any sort of adult content website, if I forgot to delete that thing, he would find it.
He would look for it?
He would go to type something else in, and then the URL for the porn website would then come up.
But was he like helicopter in that he would be like, let me see what my kid is doing?
That part I don't know. I don't know if he ever really did that. But there were times I would get caught, and I would get a talking to about.
What would they say?
My father, he's such an awkward man. You've met him. He is just so meek and awkward. Son, it's not. I wouldn't say it's very wise to be looking at pornographic content.
I can see the wise.
Computer. Right? Whereas my mother would go, what are you looking at porn on the computer for? It's late. It's after midnight. I don't want to scream. But would I deny it? I mean, of course I would deny it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not looking at porn. You're looking at porn.
Right. You freak. You creep.
Now, I once fucked up and installed a virus on the computer after going to a porn website.
Yeah. As one does.
And it was just like, literally just like.
Tits would just show up on your screen.
Oh, it was bad. It was one of those ones where just like pop-ups, porn pop-ups kept coming up. The icons all turned to like
fairness,
naked chicks.
You can get that going to any like bad website back in the day.
I blamed it on my mother because my mother would use the computer too, but she like was so inept at doing anything.
Yeah. I made a lot of like innocent mistakes clicking things and had tons of viruses, and it wouldn't even be like me doing anything like salacious.
One time she actually, now I would, try to get my revenge for my upbringing and pin the blame on her. But one time she actually installed something that just trashed the computer. It was like
and she admitted to it.
Yeah. Oh, she was so mad. That was one of those like instances where she's like, just taking her anger out on everybody else because she very clearly fucked up. But
it was hard back in the day.
Yeah, and then like we'd be without a computer for a week, and that sucked.
A week? No one would know how to fix it.
My father, to his credit, he's very, very tech savvy in that
True.
regard. I mean, he'd take his time with it, but it would get fixed. But then it would suck because then like you're starting over from scratch, and the virus could infect. Now I would like to think I'm smart and have multiple hard drives and backups, and he would learn over time the concept of backing things up, because if you don't no backups, you're screwed. Because then your virus could infect your folders that have all your stuff in it.
Right.
But
you can just go to Twitter. Just go to Reddit.
Yeah.
It's crazy you can just go to Reddit.
And learn anything?
Or just watch anything.
Right. According to TMZ, Lee Harvey Oswald assassinated JFK in 1963, purportedly. From about 265 feet away using a sniper rifle. Fast forward to Crooks, who fired at Trump from about 400 feet away with an AR-15 style rifle, but missed before Secret Service counter snipers took him out.
He seemed pretty confident that he was going to get into a situation where he would be able to do this.
Confident, but it also at the same time, I think he had to have had some degree of surprise realizing
he had to have. I would be like, come and get me now. Okay, I'm going over here.
Wow, I can't believe I made it.
I'm on the roof now.
I meant to bring this up in the previous episode because someone, going back to Reddit, someone created an animation using multiple angles of the shooting, and they animated Trump and his head movements. And they animated...
Oh, yeah, I've been watching a lot of those.
They animated the head movement from when he turned and, like, pointed at the whatever, like, the map or whatever he had behind him. And the direction that his head moved, it's like one of those things where, like, a fraction of a second earlier, and that bullet would have, like, hit him front and center. And instead, just because of the way he turned his head... on
live TV.
That's the thing.
It would have been Can
you imagine that?
No. No. Just that image. Just
that would be. You think it's fucked up enough? How many times that we saw on and after 9/11, the second plane hitting the building? How many times we had to watch, effectively, hundreds of people die in an instant? Mm-hmm. Now imagine if Trump had been killed, like if the bullet
just
hit him
in that style, like in that area, the situation, and just how high profile it would have been.
They'd be playing it on a loop, and that would, like, you want to talk about being desensitized to stuff, that would have desensitized the whole generation of now we're just literally watching a dude's head explode on TV. They'd be replaying the shit out of that, I guarantee you.
I feel like they wouldn't, but the internet would.
Yeah, but the Kennedy assassination, there's so many documentaries out there that just straight up show the Zapruder film, and you see his head explode, and that's okay.
I'm not. I'm not saying what's okay. I mean, it happened.
Yeah.
What's okay. In that resolution, that angle,
it seems like it's okay if it's...
I think there would have been some censorship just on your, typical ABC News.
It would be somehow acceptable because of the significance and who it is.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like the full image would be in a textbook.
Yeah. We had no problem on 9/11 showing the amount of murders and death that effectively occurred then.
Yeah, but even so, you don't see a lot of anymore. I mean, the news doesn't really go back and show a lot about the jumpers, and
you're right, they don't.
They've made decisions on what horror they'll show versus what horror they're not showing.
Right, they just didn't make those decisions in the heat of the moment.
I mean, it happened. You report the news if it happened, and regardless of how bad it is, people need to know. But yeah, it's at some point they have to make decisions of like, how much can the psyche handle? And so we'll curate our pictures that show how bad this is carefully, I guess. We've all just decided like the couple images of the second plane, like that's just the one that they're always just gonna like go to.
Yeah. There's I kept thinking about this in the scenario if the shooter was successful and actually killed Trump when he fired. And if we were seeing this on live television, case of life imitating art, Grand Theft Auto 5. There's a mission, there's a character who's a combination of Mark Zuckerberg and Steve Jobs. And you infiltrate his company. It's called Life Invader. That's supposed to be their version of Facebook. And you, I think like you plant a bomb, like he's going to introduce a new cell phone model, like the iPhone, and you plant a bomb on it. So then when the dude is giving his televised presentation of it, you like dial the phone and it explodes, and it, like the dude's head just explodes on live television. And I'm like, damn. And every time like I'm thinking like of what could have happened when Crooks fired, I'm like, Grand Theft Auto 5 did this already. Because it's Grand Theft Auto 5. There's also that movie Scanners.
Did this happen in The Simpsons?
The Simpsons predicted that Trump would be president. Yes, they also predicted Kamala Harris's outfit that she wore on Inauguration Day. So,
well, maybe she just took her fashion choices from Lisa.
Now, if she wins, this will effectively be The Simpsons predicting the future again in the same episode in the same scene. Because the first instance of them predicting the future was when President-elect Lisa tells her, I don't know what he is, Chief of Staff Milhouse, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump. So in 2016, everyone's all, oh my God, Simpsons predicted that Trump will be president. Now, what The Simpsons did is that episode was written around the time that Trump first tried to run for president in 2000. So they wrote that as a joke because they're like, there's no way this guy's going to win. It's ridiculous. That the concept of Donald Trump being president is absolutely ridiculous. And at the time, he like, obviously he lost. Like he dropped out of the race. So Simpsons put that in as a joke. Well, then 16 years later, the joke becomes reality. That same scene, we're going to come full circle if she wins because now we're going to be quoting that same thing again, but it's going to be because now we have a lady in the running the show.
A lady,
a mamala running the White House. Now, obviously, she's going to be coming in after President Grandpa, but still.
I was on Trump's Wikipedia today. Do you know what his dad's middle name was?
Fudge.
No, it's like worse.
Hitler.
No, but you're getting closer.
Closer. How do I get worse than Hitler? Mussolini?
No, I shouldn't say worse, but like major.
Major? Hussein?
No.
Bin Laden?
No.
Donald? What's Donald's? What's Trump's middle name? The current Trump. What's his middle name?
John or Joseph, I think.
Oh, right. Yeah,
John.
What's his father's name? Fred?
Yeah.
Is it Fred Trump?
Yep.
Toucher? No, what? I don't know.
But think big. Like
think big? Banging on a trash can? Big. My father. Best middle name. No one had a better middle name like my father.
Christ.
His middle name was Christ?
That's what, according to Wikipedia, he's Fred Christ.
Fred Christ. Wow. Are you sure it wasn't like Christ?
Well, I don't know. I just read it.
Fred Trump Jr. was Christ, not Christ.
Wait, are you... What?
Yeah, Fred, Trump's brother.
Why are you saying Christ?
So Trump's father is Frederick Christ Trump. His son of the children that he had, including Don, old Donnie, Don Old. He had Fred Jr. Fred Jr.'s middle name was Christ, not Christ.
How do you spell it?
Christ. It's missing the H.
Okay, but his dad had the.
His father was Christ.
His father was Christ.
Use Jesus, my father, bigger than Jesus in every sense of the word.
Our father.
Some may say he was overweight, much like me, but not like me because I weigh a crisp 180.
Why? That is strange then to drop the H.
I drop a lot of H. So much H, lots of H. I do lots of H. I'm not going to tell you what H is.
And then his brother had a funny middle name too. Not funny, but it just was a like parody of another celebrity. I just can't remember what it is.
Like Robert.
Yeah.
His brother Robert.
What's his middle name?
Stewart.
Yeah, Rob Stewart.
Rob Stewart. You think of Rod Stewart.
Yeah. I liked that.
So Rod is Rodney. So Rodney Stewart.
I just didn't realize there was so many siblings and some recently died. I just like didn't know, and I was in that rabbit hole.
And then there's Mary Trump.
Well, Mary Trump, her talking today is why I went to see the family tree.
Oh, she doesn't like her uncle.
Nope.
Or brother.
It's their uncle.
Their uncle, okay. Who's Tiffany? Is that his daughter?
Yeah.
One of his daughters?
I don't think Trump likes her.
He likes Ivana, though.
Ivanka? Yeah, he does.
Ivana. Well, he didn't like Ivana.
Oh, right. My bad.
Ivanka, though. Yeah. I mean, dude, just straight up, he would do her if he could. He said as much.
Did you see the Instagram I sent you today?
No.
Well,
I did, but you have to remind me what it is.
That's okay. They're just a weird family.
Well, now I want to look it up. The Trump family? Of course they're weird. Crooks. Okay. Christ. Sorry, now I'm looking for the post. You sent me a lot of posts here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, bring back candy tops, crunch candy tops.
Well, yeah, but that's not. No, it was about
Gerald Ford. Is it this one?
No, it was about Donald Trump Jr.
Okay. Crooks also rigged several explosive devices, carried a remote transmitter to the rally, and flew a drone approximately 200 yards from Trump's stage.
Taylor's friend Abigail's pregnant.
Really?
Yeah, this is fun. She's eating Cheez-Its in her pregnancy announcement photo. That's her childhood friend.
Okay.
This is big news, breaking.
But she's not, she's just eating regular Cheez-Its, so.
Yeah, she's not eating the good kind. Sorry, carry on. The people just needed to know this.
Here's Christopher Wray talking about the bombs that Crooks had on him.
Now, I do want to add one important point here, is at the moment, it looks to us, again, ongoing review, and I can't say that too many times. At a moment, it looks like because of the on-off position on the receivers, that if he had tried to detonate those devices from the roof, it would not have worked. But that doesn't mean the explosives weren't dangerous.
I mean, anything that looks like a bomb should be considered dangerous.
Yeah.
But typically, when these domestic terrorists have explosives on them, like 9 times out of 10, they don't work. They don't function.
Well, did it not function?
I mean, they detonated. Well, the bomb squads usually, like, don't they use their own bombs to detonate?
Yeah, but did he try?
Did he try? They usually use them as a backup plan. It's always sort of like a last-ditch effort. Like, think of Columbine, the shooters of Columbine. Remember, first they tried
but that wasn't their last-ditch plan. That was their plan. Their last-ditch plan was what they did.
Oh, sure, okay. Well, what about the theater shooter, the Dark Knight Rises guy? I think
it's usually these explosives are their first choice.
But like his apartment was laced in explosives because he knew
that's a secondary.
He knew the cops would
I don't think that's
there.
backup. I think that's just an additional injury.
Yeah,
but
they always have lots of weapons on them too, like the Vegas shooter. The amount of guns that dude had on him, and he only ended up using 2.
Well, that's I had heard like the stuff I was hearing. I just don't remember sources and whether they're good or not, was that he did try. It was either his plan was to have it go off and cause a scene so then he could carry on, which I don't know. That doesn't seem right, because it feels like if they hear a bomb go off, they're going to rush him off the stage. I don't know why that would help him.
Yeah.
But if he was trying to just do it all at once, I don't know. I thought he did try to do that and it didn't work.
It just doesn't surprise me to hear that he had bombs on or explosive devices.
No, especially if what they're saying, if they're saying he was intelligent, now you'd say, okay, well, you're not intelligent if this is what you're doing. But
I would expect
you have to have some level of sophistication to do that.
Yeah. I would expect him to be intelligent because you see the shape of his head? That dude had a really weird shaped head, a very oddly shaped skull.
Yeah.
I would argue that when the Secret Service took him down, they probably corrected it.
Well, they had a lot of surface area that they could get him at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably why he was picked on.
Because he was ugly. I mean,
he was. He was hideous. So
that school photo. I mean, they're using his school photo. That's all it really is. It's just like, dude, that's the most unflattering photo. That is a puberty nightmare right there.
Right. I mean, but he seemed like a gem. Don't know why he would be made fun of.
Right. Secret Service.
I am very curious by this, though. Every day we're getting like kind of bombshells.
There's going to be like just between now. I mean, I feel like we're going to be hearing about this for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to say between now and the end of the year. I feel like well into next year. Like we're going to be hearing nonstop about this unless some much larger incident occurs, especially between now and the election. Right now, this is going to be on everyone's minds, especially now that Biden is out of the running and that Kamala is, we're presuming, is now going to be taking over. And then I can hear your...
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're flossing. Getting on me about sniffling into the mic, and then I can hear you flossing.
I forgot where I was.
Hey, you know what? We need to make like a running list of...
Danny Bonaducci!
So like we can take note of like what was the Danny Bonaducci moment in this episode of Hardly Focus, and that one was the...
Yeah, that was totally my bad.
The sound of bodily functions.
Apologies.
It's okay.
I wasn't even thinking.
I'm gonna keep it in because it was funny. This is gonna be talked about a lot, and now it's obviously gonna be fuel for how things go with this election.
Well, I hope that people stay on it, because it does feel like with Vegas, right? We don't have any answers, and we've kind of just been like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
This, I mean...
That dude covered his tracks, though, really well.
So they say.
Like, we never... I mean,
we just have to trust their word for it. I mean, we have nothing better.
Literally everything with Paddock has just been... your jumping off point is his criminal father, but then just his own personal life, that like everything's just been speculation. Like, either gambling debts or poor health, or some sort of, could have been like a brain tumor changing things.
Right.
You never know.
Well, I think that's interesting in itself, where you are a productive member of society for so long and then just go big and do something, at that caliber. What happened? What made you do that? It feels easier to just be like, yeah, that was just a dumb kid.
Right.
And dumb kids do dumb things.
Now, I know with Paddock, we learned that he was scoping out Lollapalooza and ultimately didn't do anything there. I think he was also scoping out Boston Calling as well. But have we heard if Crooks was attempting like some other venue or some other major figure?
I mean, he I'm not sure if it was concrete. He at least Googled the dates of the DNC.
Okay. Oh yeah, good looking into that.
Well, yeah. The DNC what? There's another word in there that I'm...
The DNC?
Yeah.
Democratic National Convention.
Oh, okay. No, I got it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's going to be indoors.
But I don't know what, Googling the date, could have just been seeing how many days, apart his mission versus when that is. I don't know that. Or he Googled, did he Google like trips to, was it Chicago?
Yeah.
I don't know. There was a search, but they didn't tie it to exactly, he was going to do that as well or.
Yeah. Crooks, or Trump rather, now being told you got to stop having your rallies outside in the open.
It seems like, right? And they don't really do concerts outside in Vegas anymore too. That's just kind of the route you take.
Oh, they do. They do, where they have that.
They're doing them
when we were young. That festival,
yeah, actually,
and
my bad, you're right.
where they have that, they have multiple festivals there a year. I haven't been doing it where the Route 91 festival was.
Got it.
But they do have them in other locations.
I don't know how they're gonna go back and do outdoor rallies.
I feel like something like this. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter where you do it or how well you lock it down. Someone's gonna find a way to.
I would have never thought so. Through. You saying that, but yeah, now if it was, whether somebody turned a blind eye because they feel a certain way or really just, humans have faults and people messed up and someone thought someone else was doing something and people panicked and didn't want to take out the threat because, they weren't sure who that was. I don't know. I understand that, but I guess it's not as well oiled as I thought.
Well, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I mean, and it's not even just with Trump. I mean, this could apply to literally any politician that has a security detail. But like, surprising, it's never someone on the inside. Someone on their own team, like a disgruntled Secret Service member.
That's what I feel like we're gonna find out.
Yeah, someone could just
at some point that has to happen.
Yeah, because the Secret Service. I mean, those guys, they all have guns on them. That's like what the shots. No pun intended. The pictures of Reagan after he was shot, and you see his Secret Service. And it's so funny to see, like, in the 80s, his Secret Service, like, those guys are so, like, casually dressed.
Yeah.
Not like casually dressed, but they're not wearing all black with sunglasses.
No, they looked like they were...
like, just normal guys.
That they were politicians themselves.
Right. And then there's, like, a famous shot with, like, Reagan. You see, like, Reagan and Brady on the ground. And then one of the Secret Service guys is now he's holding an Uzi 9mm with a stock. And the dude just looks badass because he's in, like, combat pose.
I do, gotta give it to them, though. I can't imagine just that being your job.
Well, Kimberly Cheadle. Boy, what an unfortunate surname. She was the Secret Service director. She called the incident a massive operational failure and has since resigned her post.
But not before being dragged in front of...
Well, it's kind of going back to the CrowdStrike thing. I mean, when you are in charge of the entire operation and a colossal failure occurs, there's really no way out at that point. Like, if you hold on to your job after all that happens,
I would not have sat through that. I would have said, "Thank you, my bad, I'm out," and I'm not going to answer these questions.
Well, I guess like give her like a small amount of credit, just the fact that like.
Wasn't she subpoenaed and had to be there?
Well, she also owned up to it too. She didn't blame anybody else for it. She didn't say like,
"Yeah,
this is this."
No, but some of her comments were tough.
Sure, but at the end of the day, she said we fucked up.
No, she did.
I mean, that's the individual who appointed her, with whom she's working, would never admit to fault. So, just think about that.
Who's that?
The same guy who praised the Secret Service for doing a fantastic job, all things considered. I mentioned this last week. I'll say it again. No, they didn't. they let you almost get shot.
I think that's tough, right? Because when you're when you're criticizing the organization, it's the same organization who jumped in front of them when it happened, and like to say they did a bad job when some guy literally is like, all right, but I'm standing in front of this. I'm like, you sir are fine, like, but you ma'am.
Yeah, like
of course I blame the woman. No, I didn't mean that.
Yes, you did.
No.
Yeah, you'd be like, you did a fantastic job of jumping in to protect me. However, you did that after the bullet hit me. Now I'm covered in blood.
It's like everybody had a certain job to do. Yeah. And some people, some groups of people, like the ones maybe down in front whose sole job was to, you hear something, jump in front of them.
Yeah.
Seems like they did okay. But maybe the ones who were checking perimeters and checking spaces did not. And so together you fail, right? You succeed or fail together, but it is hard to blanketly say they did a bad job when at the same time they laid down their life, like, you know, blocking or was willing to, I guess. So yes, there's individuals in that organization. It's not everyone.
Yeah, if he says you did a fantastic job, I'd be very quick to say, no, you didn't. No, nobody did a fantastic job. That is a lie and a half to say anybody here did a fantastic job.
But at the same time,
the failure was the guy got on the roof. He was able to get in. He was able to, like, and the fact that other people saw him there and was pointing him out, saying he's up there. There's literally a guy up there with a gun and no one is doing anything.
But isn't this the same as like you don't start shit with the people who are cooking your food? Because at the end of the day, they're still the ones he's going to have to like walk next to, and you can't, like, maybe you're going to be nice to them.
I'm surprised
even afterward.
I'm surprised he hasn't turned on him already, because he turns on everybody.
Did he hire private security now?
Oh, I have no idea. I know that.
I had the money.
Well, I know that, you know, Biden, when he was attempting to be, you know, cordial and presidential, was saying, look, let's revise the security detail that you have, and let's consider, I mean, I think Trump was calling for it too, but hey, let's consider imparting a similar detail onto Brainworm McGee, who doesn't have any right now, but considering he is a candidate and will be on the ticket, he should have some degree of detail.
I think they all should have so much, like, just for the sake of looking like, you know, we in America have things under control. Mm-hmm. You never want anyone taken out as part of a, you know, free and fair election.
Yeah.
I think anybody.
I mean, we should just start doing what they do over in, like, you know, third world countries, like over in the Middle East, where you see the person in power speaking, and they're surrounded by 4 to 5 armed individuals.
Yeah, or
just as a show of power.
Or glass. I mean, yeah, it doesn't.
It's like the Pope-mobile.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I get it. The optic is tough. It doesn't feel like they're one of the people. But I honestly would be afraid to watch a rally. I am going to be like, or even just any outdoor like speech by even, you know, the president. Like, I'm scared, and I'm just going to be waiting. I don't want to see anything. I don't want to see.
Yeah.
I hope the TV delay would catch that.
Well, it could be like, was it Angel Has Fallen? Or Olympus Has Fallen? Or White House Down? Remember those movies? 2 of them came out around the same time.
I can't say that I do, but I'm not the right person for this.
Kate and I would jokingly call it Olympus Has Farted. And then that ended up, like, we kept accidentally calling it Olympus Has Farted.
I've never heard of it.
It's about, the first one's about the president, played by Aaron Eckhart, getting kidnapped. But, like, he's literally kidnapped in the White House. Huh. It's about, like, a terrorist organization that, like, is basically operating on the inside. And then there's a movie called White House Down that came out literally like the same week, that was pretty much the same exact film, except like stupid 90s action style with Jamie Foxx. Whereas Olympus Has Fallen was the more serious one in comparison. Kind of like Deep Impact versus Armageddon.
Totally.
But yeah, that's, I mean, like watching Biden give his address to the nation and just thinking like, what if the cameraman all of a sudden just like turns on him?
Right.
Like that could happen literally in the Oval Office.
That'd be so crazy.
Yeah. There's so the West Wing did an episode that aired a month after 9/11. And
how did I know you were going to go into West? I knew it was coming.
Because the West Wing had a whole arc about an assassination attempt.
I would think it would.
At Rosslyn, Virginia. And it's a great few episodes. But they did an episode like right after 9/11, and it's non-canon to the series. But the premise is around a crash occurring, which is when they have to lock down the White House, and it's because they think that there is a terrorist who's been masquerading as a White House employee who is going to commit some sort of heinous act from right within the White House. And then it turns out that their intelligence was wrong, and the guy who's working there happened to share a name similar to someone on the FBI's terrorist watch list. But not before the poor dude gets grilled throughout the entire episode by Leo McGarry about his plans. And it was played by the same guy who gave us this gem.
Back up in your ass with the resurrection.
From Office Space. And this guy was the president on the West Wing.
Who's the commanding officer here?
Ain't you?
You ever seen Apocalypse Now?
I have not.
Apocalypse Now is bizarre, but it's a very good movie.
What are you shooting at, soldier? What the fuck you think I'm shooting at?
That's my favorite scene in the movie.
I'll have to watch it.
It's a good movie. It's a classic. I took a film class in college. Now, believe it or not, I went to college. But
you're gonna go back and be a meteorologist.
I know, so I can be as good as Tyler Owens, the tornado wrangler. But no, I took a film class, and one of the ones I had to watch was Apocalypse Now, and it was great because there was a list of just movies that always wanted to see and never seen. Finally, I had an excuse to watch them, and I'll tell you this: perfect score on the Jurassic Park test.
I knew you could do it.
Thanks, baby. All right. Blah 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 blah.
I will say with everything.
Sorry, I was going to segue into playing this, but go ahead.
My bad.
No. The floor is yours, Rebecca.
The name Crooks, though,
is hilarious.
It is, and it's gonna be memorable, which is.
Oh, I'm not a crook.
Yeah, it feels like Crooks.
I know. Of course, his name was Crooks.
Crooks.
Imagine his last name was like Shoot 'em, or Assassin.
I know.
Or Thomas Christ Crooks.
Well,
what if his last name was Trump?
Then I would be like, okay, there's some weirder conspiracy stuff going on here.
Okay, here we go.
This is the end.
Hardly focused.
The end.
So this kind of now went under the radar between Trump getting shot and then Biden dropping out of the race. In fact, this actually happened the night that we recorded the previous episode of the show, but it was the MLB, I believe, the Home Run Derby and the national anthem. And I played this. We had finished recording, but I started playing this video, and you can hear our reactions to it in real time. It's myself, it's you, Rebecca, and Nate. It sounded like this. It's considered the worst performance of the national anthem ever.
No, is it Fergie?
It's not Fergie, and it's not Roseanne. Like, it literally just happened.
I get secondhand embarrassment. I don't want to hear it.
MLB Home Run Derby national anthem.
I'm scared. I don't want to hear it.
Who's broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight? Or the rampart
dear.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave?
Like a bad Billie Eilish impression.
That wasn't too
For the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Play ball.
We are back. It's comical listening to ourselves reacting and then reacting to our reactions.
You were recording me.
I liked your cringe though.
How's she doing? She out of rehab?
Ingrid Andrest. Yeah, she then announces the next day she was drunk and she's gonna go to rehab. Like, do you think that's what what really happened?
I did sense there was like a semblance of a good singer deep down in her heart.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because
maybe she was off, but she should have just blamed Ambien and moved on.
right. Well, Roseanne did
It works.
She did an awful rendition of the national anthem, and nobody. I mean, her career didn't tank, and then Fergie, same deal. I was reminding me of this clip.
We invited Jesse Jackson to open our negotiations with a prayer. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it, so in his place, we have LaToya Jackson.
Thanks. Rub-a-dub-dub. Thanks for the grub. Yay, God.
How very inappropriate. Thank you.
All right. Rebecca, thank
Jack.
you.
Jack.
I'm very tired.
We did it.
We did it.
How long we been?
Almost 2 hours. And
wow.
to break the fourth wall is almost 1 o'clock in the morning.
No, we are morning people.
No,
It is 6 a.m. The birds are singing.
We've been drinking.
I have not.
What's
You're
in that-
drinking
what-
hard iced tea, and I'm drinking soft iced tea.
Really?
Oh, I forgot. I did have a drink. I didn't drink it though.
I brought it up
I
here
know,
just
I
for
forgot.
you.
I forgot.
You even said. You said,
I
could,
did,
could
and then
you
I
bring
forgot
it?
about it.
I thought it was some sort of Aperol.
Whiskey drink. It is.
Yeah.
It is. But
Okay.
I didn't know it was here.
You got it? You can fit it? Okay. You got
Yeah.
it. You did it. You did it. Yeah.
Yep.
No, I grabbed one of my hoopties.
And I have a Snapple.
Which
I want to try the Sour Patch Snapples. I need to get them before they're out of stores.
See, I think hoopty is got to be low key for Loco because it says it's made with real black tea, and black tea has a fuck ton of caffeine in it. But
yeah.
they don't like.
Maybe they can bypass.
Yeah, I don't know if like the alcohol dilutes it naturally. There's no mention of it of caffeine on the can, but
Maybe it's decaf black tea.
I don't know. I
almost got you a Sun Cruiser iced tea that they've been advertising around Fenway.
I'm happy you didn't because I've had Sun Cruiser and I don't like it. It's garbage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I've had it. It's
Well,
actually,
I got denied 4 beers, so.
Well, I actually had a Sun Cruiser at this place's establishment.
With these prices, I should be broke.
Ron Emma.
Oh, right.
I had it at Emma's and I just
Yeah, we have the worst beverage experiences at Emma's. Remember when you got the Ron's Brew, which is like Rolling Rock, but you couldn't drink it.
Well, I mean, I drank it, but it was
but you were like, it was hurting.
It was like toilet water.
Yeah.
I mean, do you go to Emma's expecting quality?
I mean, their pizza's good.
The first time I went there, it smelled like piss.
I know, it really did, and I was like vouching hard. I was like, no, it's actually good. The pizza is good though. Like
it is.
Yeah. But it did smell like pee.
I mean, the food.
That was a bad night.
It's what I expect from Emma's, and that night was important to me because that was the first time I was at your place.
Yeah,
and that was my
and
first time seeing the area.
That was and I was nervous having to be the person to. It was time to order takeout. I'm in charge, right? We're on my turf. I had to vouch for a place, and I like crappy chain pizza, and I was like, no, I gotta act like I'm more worldly and get a mom and pop pizza. I don't know.
With these prices, I should be broke.
Nothing was open. Emma's was open though. And I will say it was not their best night pizza. Like that chicken broccoli ziti pizza is typically so good. And they did not make a good one that night. And I'm like, this is going to ruin his experience of Emma's.
This is going to ruin the tour.
But little did you know, you're stuck going there all the time. Like that's just where we go.
But there are times where like I'll suggest, hey, let's go to Emma's.
But it's good. It is actually good.
No,
but the things they do bad, they do bad.
Yeah, but now I know going there, I'm like, all right, this is like white trash central. Like this is a working man's pub. Like you don't go in there expecting it to be a Michelin star rated establishment.
No, but they can make a good pizza. The drink should be fine, but you just have to make better choices and don't ever get the baked potato.
Remind me why?
It's just always burnt.
Okay.
And like
I will always give an establishment a chance if they have their own brew. If they make their own beer, I'll try it.
If Ron Emmons listening though, I would like to say one thing. So once a year, they have this special pizza, right? It's on their specials menu, and they make a margarita pizza, okay? You can get that at a lot of places. They made the best margarita pizza, and I've had a lot. I've judged a lot. I don't know what they're doing, but it is the best. And they only get the ingredients, as they say, once a blue moon. It's been once a year, and when they get it, I get multiple and I stock up and put them in my freezer. But I don't know why they don't put that as a permanent item on their menu. They do it so fantastic.
This is now, I don't think I've played this audio in 15 years, but this is before I realized that I'd be dating someone who lived not only in the vicinity of Emma's pub, but where the man lives himself, where you see him walking his dog, swinging his arms about. I want to see this myself. I really do. But this is the commercial that used to play. And we used to get the commercials in Worcester, despite the closest Emma's being like an hour
They're
away.
in the grocery stores over here.
This was the commercial that used to play.
At Emma's Pub and Pizza, Ron Emma has really lost it.
Ron's out of his mind.
24 inches of pan pizza? Size does matter. Absurd. He's whacked. A ginormous 1 pound burger? The Maverick. Awesome appetizers. An open steak sandwich. Sizzling fajita frenzy. And knockout beers and cocktails. Ron's crazy. With these prices, I should be broke.
Emma's Pub and Pizza, exit 15 off Route 24 in Bridgewater.
Always something happening.
I liked.
That is a Connecticut School of Broadcasting project right there.
I enjoyed, so I've told you, when you get your restaurant tour of the South Shore and you've gone to Barrett's well, you've only been to one.
I've been twice.
Yeah.
But not the ones you want to take me to, right? Isn't there another Barrett's you want to?
There's multiple Barrett's. I don't know. I just, you had to go to one. But I don't know, gave you the rundown of it. And I told you I grew up, like they live next door to me. And then when Jace ran over there and we were leaving my parents and I'm like, yeah, no, that's the Barretts right there. And you're like, oh, that's them. Like they were famous in that moment. It suddenly hit you that they live right there.
Right next door.
Literally.
And they have a Cooper.
Not only do they live next door, they live behind us too. The house behind my parents is them too.
I want to introduce Cooper to Cooper and see what happens.
Yeah, apparently Cooper doesn't like other dogs that much, but he seemed cool the other day.
Oh, well, Cooper will put on his whole, hey, I'm much bigger than I actually am face, so we can see how that goes.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe they'll be best friends.
Stranger things have happened.
That's the name of a TV show. Yeah, you're right. Stranger things have happened. Look at us.
Yeah, it's a freak show.
This house is a freak show.
It's becoming one.
The couch was a freak show earlier. That's not a sexual reference, by the way. The dog threw up on the couch, so that was fun.
I was waiting for this to happen. I mean, it happens once every couple of years. At my house, we had a good run. And you know what the saddest part of that is? I've had cushion covers for the couch sitting in the Amazon package for 2 months and never put them on. Now, here we are. But Jack did buy a spot treatment cleaner. That was on hand, so we're good to go.
Oh, but at least, like, what I appreciate about Cooper is when he starts, like, retching, he'll just, like, beeline it for the carpet, and then I can usually pick him up and throw him on the hardwood floor. Jace decided, hey, the best place to do this is on the couch.
I bet Jay thought it was going to be a burp.
Oh, no, that dude, because I could see, like, he's quiet. Cooper's a loud one. When Cooper's starting to puke, you just be sitting there, and you just hear, like, it's.
Jay usually does the, like, you see the bubble, like it's like a false. You can hear his stomach like pumping.
Yeah, I heard an odd sound, and then I looked over and I could see his like body contorting, and just that was like the telltale sign. Like, oh.
If you ever see that happen again, run and grab the towel. Don't try to deal with him. Just grab a towel and throw it down. The one in the kitchen, just throw down right in front of him.
Oh, and it was glorious because he had literally just eaten.
It was easier to pick up.
It was, but just like still.
Yeah, I mean, this is what parents go through. My poor guy, he's got an ear infection.
Becky, cut the cheese.
For the rest of you, thank you for listening.
I need to get these headphones off. It's hurting my jaw just sitting right here.
You should have just Hillmanned it and just put them down and I'll crank the volume for you.
I didn't realize, like, as I'm sitting here in pain that...
Why am I hurting?
Yeah, and it is. It's grabbing onto my bone graft.
For the rest of you, thank you for listening. Buy us a coffee at hardlyfocused.com/coffee. That is a real URL.
Buy Jack a black tea.
A black tea, not a hoop tea, just a black tea. Or Earl Grey hot. I'll take them both. I do enjoy lemon tea as well. I'm not picky. I don't like green tea, though. I'll tell you that. We'll talk at you next time. Say goodbye, Rebecca.
See ya, bye.
Goodbye.
Privatization may not have happened.
This has been a presentation of the Solid Listen Podcast Network.